My button range is going to be extremely loose. In PLO, preflop equities are so close that it can't be a mistake. Position is just so powerful in PLO, even more so than in No Limit. The King 4-3-2 single suit is not the type of hand that I would normally open. The 4-3 and the 2 are just so weak. They're basic. They just don't make anything usually most of the time, and anytime you make two pair or something like that, you end up getting counterfeited a lot. But if there's some weak players in the blinds, I am going to be looking to play as many pots with them as possible. So this player in the small blind, I've never seen him before, and so I assume he's a fish, and Mustang is just very he's very passive, so I don't expect him to three bet a lot. So I'm going to be opening extremely wide range on the button here, probably 85 or 90% of my hands. Whereas if this was for example Flotsam Fiend and Gavs 101, I would probably just be holding this hand on the button because they would just be three betting too often, and I just wouldn't be making good enough hands often enough to when they're playing back at me. So I open on the button, c-bet the flop, and on the turn comes a 4, and I think a lot of people would probably check back, or at least maybe no limit players that are transitioning to PLO would check back on the turn because they just don't want to get check raised off their hand. And maybe just call some blank rivers. Maybe not a lot of worse hands can call. But in PLO, something that you're going to be doing more often or more so than you are in No Limit is you're going to be bet folding a lot, just because one, people are going to be making the nuts more often, so then when you're getting check raised, they're just going to have it more often. And then the other reason is because this player in the small blind is just really passive, and so I don't expect him to be check raising me that often, and so I need to be betting just to protect for the times that he has something that actually might have very good equity against me. He might have something like Ace King 10-7 or something like that, and he actually has a lot of outs against me, and if he knew my hand would have to continue, but he can't continue when I bet this turn because he could be drawing dead. Also, if he had something like Queen with the Queen High flush draw, it's very difficult for him to continue here. So I get him to fold a hand that has actually a lot of equity against me. But yeah. So I would just be bet folding in that spot most of the time. He's just not going to have 6-7 very often. In the bottom left, I open Ace 9 7-5 double suited, and I don't c-bet the flop. I think, well, I remember my reasoning at the time was that both of these guys were fish. They're both going to peel any flush draw and possibly hands like Jack or King, and I just decided to give up. But I actually thought that this was, or looking at it now, I think it's a mistake. I have so many turn cards that can give me equity to barrel. For example, this turn card I can just bet, and they're going to fold very often because they're not going to have 6-4 in their ranges very often, and so I think it was just better to c-bet. But once checked, it gets checked back around to me, and I think because none of the players show strength, I just have the best hand here a lot, and so I'm just going to bet for value. In the top right, I opened 4-4 deuce. Not really the greatest hand in the world. Plays extremely well or extremely poorly in multi-way pots. You end up getting oversetted a lot, but I think it plays well heads up, and definitely good enough to open. In the bottom right, I open Ace Queen 9-7 with 3 diamonds. This would be the type of hand that if I had something like if you took the two players to my left and switched them with Flotsam Fiend and Strati, I would not be opening, just because I mean, it looks like a really good hand. It's kind of connected, has enough flush draw, but um, I think in PLO, position is so powerful, and it's just you're gonna get three bet a lot, and I mean, it's a pretty good hand to call with, but at the same time, like, you're just gonna be put in tough spots when you have a good player to your left. So I prefer to just fold hands that would that wouldn't really play well when I got three bet a lot. But with the players to my left, Bruce 18 Lee is probably like the tightest player in the game, and this Myron, whatever his name is, on the button, he's 50-0. He's very weak. He's not going to be three betting me a lot, so I think I can get away with opening a hand like this. So in the top right, I get three bet by this player on the button, and I actually consider leading here just because I have such a tight range. I'm going to have a lot of tens and lots of wrap type hands, and he's going to be checking back a lot, I think. But I decided not to, just because he seemed like the type of player who is really, I mean, he's really loose preflop, so he seemed like the type of player that would probably peel me really light. And so I wasn't really ready, without having any reads on him, to three barrel him, which I probably would have to do. I mean, when I lead this flop, if he has a king, if he has ace ace, he's going to call 1, 2, possibly 3 streets. And so I think if you're going to lead in a spot like this, you have to be ready to fire multiple barrels. And especially since he three bet my under the gun raise, I think he's gonna hit this board a lot too. And so I think that although this is a board that I would lead a lot, I just decided not to, because I just thought that I would have to fire 3 barrels to get him to fold anything decent, and I just didn't really think it was worth it. So in the bottom right, one thing that I really want to talk about that I think a lot of players make mistakes on is that on boards like ace 8 or something, maybe like 6 5 4 rainbow, when you're c-betting a flop like that, if you have the nuts, it's really hard to get outdrawn. And so I think that you don't really need to c-bet really big on boards like these. I find that a lot of players are betting something like 150 or something really large, and I just really think it's unnecessary, because you're just going to have, like, for example, on this board, when I raise under the gun, especially with me having a very tight range, I'm just going to have an ace a lot, and it's not like they can just peel with their flush draws that easily, because I mean, a lot of the times when they make a flush, I'm going to make a boat. And so I think on boards like these where it's really hard, or where someone has the nuts a lot, you just don't need to c-bet a lot. So I think betting something like half pot or a little bit over half pot is probably the best play in this spot. I think, let's see, how much did I actually bet here? I ended up settling on betting 120, and the reason why I decided to bet 120 instead of like 100 or 80 or something like that is because this player on the button seems to be fishy, and he seems like the type of player who would peel me with a draw very often. And so I'm just trying to get the most value out of the hand. Whereas if this was a better player, I'd probably just c-bet a little less, because he wouldn't be stupid enough to peel here with something like I don't know, 9-9 or I don't know, Jack 10, whatever with the Jack high flush draw. It's too often that he's just going to be drawing dead or very thin.